Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Howdy y'all, Red O'Loughlin here. We're on The Wise Ones on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. And before we begin today, let me give you just a real brief summary about me. I'm a researcher. I research the human body at the cellular level. Chemically speaking, I look for cause and effect relationships. Treat a cause, fix a problem. Treat symptoms, and you'll always be treating symptoms, and the cause may continue to get worse. I write about it. I speak about it. I've authored books on it. That I do a lot of things in that area. Generally speaking, longevity, age-related things. I'm also a TV host here on this show, and I'm a book publisher, independent, and I've done 40, 50 books for other people. I can get ready to come out with a couple more here within the next 30 days for a couple new authors that I've come across recently. That being said, I don't need to say that being said. It's one of those little things clicked. The Wise Ones welcomes Carolyn Sommer to our show today. Carolyn is a professional life coach, also known as the Health Hunter. Carolyn, please join me.
Yes, hi Rich. Nice to see you. Happy to be here.
Always good to be seen. I went to 2 funerals this week, so I know what it's like to be viewed. It's a very sobering experience. But you're coming to us today from the continent of Africa, from the country of Morocco. Probably the first that I can remember. We've had several from Africa. We've had obviously more than a few from Europe. But you're down there. You went to a conference kind of highlighting ways to improve your health. So tell us a little bit about why you're in Morocco and what you're doing, and then we'll get back into the meat of the program with who Carolyn is and how she came to be a health hunter.
Yeah, so basically I went here to spread the word about glutathione. We will be speaking about that in a minute. And I went to see some midsup doctors around the International Micronutrition Congress. So that was amazing connections. And now I'm touring the country to make sure that this glutathione is getting known, because we hold it in our cells. And it's so critical for health, but still there is a huge education work to be done, globally, let's say, so country by country.
Okay, but you didn't know about glutathione a few years ago, and then all of a sudden you had some personal issues, and part of your research, part of your trying to improve yourself through your health and through other things. Tell me a little bit about that story, because I think it's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, so as you say, we are not born knowing about glutathione, obviously. I've never heard that word before. And, life is pretty intelligent, I guess, because when I needed it the most, I crossed my path with a lady who explained me about glutathione. And at first, I was a little bit, skeptical, to be honest. I have a biology background, so what I did immediately is to start researching it on my own. Was 2 months, I think, investigation. And when I discovered what it was like discovering, Christopher Columbus discovering the Americas, let's say. And what I discovered, I know it's just the tip of the iceberg. It's only a 10% of this amazing research and molecule. And this is how it changed my life. and then I will explain you after what it did for me. Already, I can't hear you.
Glutathione is one of those words that we don't typically hear about. So part of your research, there's a lot of words you came across before you came across glutathione. So you were trying to fix what kind of problem? What was the health problem you had that caused you to go in this direction?
Yeah, so basically, I've been having chronic fatigue for more than 20 years. So, when you're a young person, you're in your 20s, everybody is like fit, everybody is like partying, everybody is, enjoying life at its full. I remember I have an anecdote about that. When I started working, I was a managing assistant at the beginning of my career after the bio background. And sometimes when the boss was here, I had to go and take a nap in this office because I was too exhausted. Chronic fatigue is not severe, but it's taking your life down in a way because my body was not aligning with my inner flame. I'm a very passionate person, and it was not fitting. You understand that. So in my case, because it's my story, I'm not telling that it's the same for everybody, obviously. But in my case, glutathione changed my life in just 2 days. 2 days.
Wow. Okay, so your background is biology, my background is chemistry. Neither one of us are medical professionals. Neither one of
Yeah.
us have been in the pharmaceutical field. So just for disclaimer, these are things that we do because we love to research them, to know about them, to tell other people about them, because what we're seeing is things that we wouldn't see otherwise for whatever reason. But as a glutathione, it's a molecule our body makes, so you really can't have a doctor prescribe it for you, and it's not something our body makes. It's a precursor. Generally speaking, it's a molecule that takes about three other glycine, glutamate, and another one, and it actually makes the glutathione. But if you take glutathione as a pill, it's not very bioabsorbable getting through the stomach, but you can take it under the tongue and get it into the bloodstream. And then you can get intravenous. So there are things, but it's just not something that most people are aware of. But as you talked about, it's kind of the master uh, antioxidant because it does so many things so well. And I think something I read from you sent me, it's used in over 400 operations in the body, and some super critical ones. So tell us a little bit about what you know about the molecule glutathione.
Yeah, so I think the most impressive thing that I've learned is that without glutathione, there would be no life on Earth. So basically, to have a life on a planet, you need oxygen, water, and glutathione. That's as critical. So every living cell in this planet has glutathione. So every animal, plant, tree, birds, fish, dogs, everybody literally. And as you said, indeed, it's more than 450 functions in your body. When you think of oxygen, which is super famous, it's around 2, 3 functions, right? And even without glutathione, when you breathe, the oxygen you intake would not be binding to your red cells without glutathione because the charge is not adapted. So glutathione is the reduction agent, let's say, to allow the oxygen bind to your red cells. But this is only one from the 450 functions. And as I always say, maybe in 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, scientists will discover even more. Who knows? Maybe that will be 1,000. That's, jaw dropping, really.
Okay, can I get you to take a real quick look at the chat because it's an area that I need to cover with you down the road. I just need to have you be a little bit better prepared. The glutathione is something that we're going to get into a little bit later on, but as you developed, you have this professional life coach and the moniker health hunter. So what did you do to become a professional life coach is probably the first uh, question that we need to have answered. And then why health hunter? Is that because of your background or because of something else that's happened?
Yeah, so basically, as you said, my background is biology. That was my passion, But sometimes life is a little tricky and gets you to some places you didn't expect. So life put me on the way of living in Bali, Indonesia, where I became a villa rental hunter, and I created then my company about that. But during that famous COVID era, like many people, I took a step back and I realized that this project was not a project from my heart, but was a project from my intellect. This is why I was no longer thriving and I was no longer happy with that. And when I discovered that, glutathione mission and the potential for humanity, really, uh, it appeared like a clear mission. That was my life mission, and I recognize it. This is really how it happened, very suddenly, and as a huge leap of faith when I closed my real estate company. Yes, to embrace this mission.
The famous COVID era. I don't think I've ever heard that term before.
Oh, sorry, Red, I could not hear you.
The famous COVID era. I don't think I've ever heard that term before.
Oh, yeah.
Is that something you coined?
Yeah, no, that was, it's like yin and yang. You can't have all negative, all positive. There is always something positive coming out from something apparently negative. So many people, reflected on their own lives and reached out to themselves. Yes.
You were talking about your fatigue earlier. So many things in our lives are caused by deficiencies or non-actions, depending on what is actually going on. A non-action may be I'm not getting my exercise, I'm not getting my sleep, I'm not doing stress management. So there's a lot of inactions. But sometimes I'm really low on magnesium or calcium or some other nutrient. And one of the things that I found with my wife going through chemotherapy about 10 years ago was that between chemo and radiation, I had read a book called The Walls Protocol by Dr. Terry Walls, Wahls. And she came up with 4 platforms, and one of them was the nutritional part. And so I put my wife on that during that 2 or 3 week period in between. And she had been taking 2, 3 2-hour naps a day for months, just absolutely no energy at all. The radiologist told us that her fatigue would probably get worse when she started radiation treatments because she had several weeks of that scheduled. But I put her on that, and the protocol enveloped about 30, 32 nutrients the body needs daily, every single day, just as we need glutathione, we need oxygen, we need everything. And I put her on that, and we couldn't eat as much as they wanted us to because there's just too much food. But within 48 hours, she had no more fatigue. It was gone, literally evaporated, just like you're telling me, it's just gone. And 7 days into this, she volunteered back up at the church. But the last day of radiation, we left Houston, drove 1,000 miles to Jacksonville, Florida, and picked up a U-Haul. I hauled my parents' estate stuff back, and my wife followed me 48 hours after her last radiation treatment by herself, 500 miles a day, without any problems, all because of nutrition and the fact that she was getting what she needed. So from a glutathione perspective, you may be eating a fair amount of good stuff, but you're not necessarily eating the right stuff to get the combination to make glutathione or some other nutrients our bodies need. Please comment on that.
Yeah, so actually, when I say that glutathione is the missing key to the health, it's because if you don't have enough glutathione level, if your level is too low, then the cell cannot intake nutrients, minerals, vitamins properly. There are 2 reasons for that. The first reason is because if the cell is too full with toxins, pollutants, chemicals, heavy metals, it literally closes its doors, right? So it cannot intake anything. And the second reason is when you don't have enough glutathione in the cells, the glutathione is actually the bandmaster for the vitamins,
the minerals. It's the recycling agent. For example, vitamin C with no glutathione can be used once or sometimes twice, but then it cannot be recycled. So that's why sometimes people tell to themselves, I don't understand. I'm on a treatment, I'm on a supplement, I'm on a medicine, and I have no response from my body. What happens? And I had the case with a member of my team that had been, I think, struggling for almost 6 years with our blood sugar levels. And she was, doing everything perfectly. She's a naturopath, and she studies nutrition. So she was having a perfect lifestyle, very controlled nutrition, meditation. Everything was, very, very controlled, but still could not, make it down. And with the glutathione, in this case, this very one, she put some little monitors on her arm and discovered that finally it had decreased. So this is really the sign of sometimes only one little thing, and in this case, glutathione, which is so central to the health, can be, like blocking the processes, the other processes toward health. So yes.
The condition you talk about with vitamin C being able to be used, it's an antioxidant, and the process that goes on in the body is that a free radical will come in, and a free radical is a molecule that is missing an electron. And as it bumps into a molecule in your pancreas or your lungs or doesn't matter where in the body, the brain, it's going to reach out and it's going to grab a hold and rip an electron off so that it can stabilize itself. Now the molecule that was ripped apart and is now missing an electron, it is now an active inflammatory agent, and it's going to go out and look for a place. And so you have this spiraling out of control. And you mentioned particularly via vitamin C that can be used more than once, maybe, but in the presence of glutathione, it can be used up to 6 times. And so you have one molecule and 6 opportunities to stabilize other molecules without itself becoming another active element in the inflammatory process in the body. Now, the one thing I love about glutathione is in the brain. And in the brain, there's another molecule that passes through our barrier up there. It's called pyrroloquinolincanone, typically called PQQ. And in the presence of glutathione, it can be reconstituted 25,000 times. So you get one molecule, glutathione's there, boom, it donates an electron, glutathione helps stabilize it again, and it just, it's like an army of one molecule being there 25,000 times. It's amazing what glutathione can do, but most of us never ever know because it's not something we study. It's not something we know about. Our friends don't tell us about it. But I can assume in some of your conversations, you probably do tell people about it.
Yeah, I'm very passionate about that. Because as I was saying, when you check at PubMed, vitamin C, for example, is like 80,000 studies as of today, more or less, right? And if you type, glutathione, that's about 200,000 studies. So the scientists know that it's potential, but as you say, it's very important that we keep educating people, be individuals or even, health professionals. Conventional doctors, for example, don't learn it at the faculty. The integrative medicine doctors, yes, they do know about it and use it, obviously, as one of the most important tool, maybe in health. But yeah, we keep educating, people, individuals, doctors, therapists. This is a huge part of the mission as well, because we gotta know how the body works. Because here we're talking about helping the body to heal itself or self-heal, So yes, this is so important to me.
We're coming up on a commercial break here in just a very brief moment. When we get done with the commercial break, you hit a very typical topic of doctors not knowing nutrition, so they can't recommend something that because their moral and legal obligation is to, if I have a problem, this is what I need to tell my patient. Here's surgery, here's this treatment, here's this prescription, whatever. So let's go down that path of doctor education and awareness after the commercial break. Is that fair enough?
Lovely.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Tracy Cram-Perkins, a dementia caregiving survivor teaching how to balance care with peace of mind. #1 resource for dementia caregivers. It's the book Dementia Home Care: How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Over 17,000 copies sold of this must-have guide. And now a testimonial from Tracy Smith.
If I was to describe this book to someone who is going through a similar situation, I would underscore how important it is to have some sort of a tool or a guidebook to help you through certain stages. And there's so many, it's such an unknown topic to the average person. And to have this as a reference is essential. It's going to help you get through it personally, as well as help your loved one manage.
To learn more, go to tracycramperkins.com. Tracy Cram-Perkins is an award-winning author. She's also the host of Dementia Home Care television show. Watch it here on USA Global TV and Radio.
Rhoda Laughlin here. We're on the Wise Ones on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. And my guest today is Caroline Sommer. She is a professional life coach and runs under the moniker of Health Hunter. Caroline, please join me back up here again.
Yeah, I will maybe try the headphones again because I can't hear you very well.
Okay.
Yeah, let me try that.
As we were leaving, we were talking about having doctors not necessarily aware of a lot of things in the nutrition world. They have their education, but their nutritional background is very, very brief from an academic perspective or from whatever other methods that they use. I go to a doctor and I say, hey, I got high blood pressure. And the doctor's going to say, here's a pill or whatever. But I found that if I go in there and I say, Doc, I know that if I lose some weight and if I exercise some more in the past, I've managed to to handle my blood pressure. And so I said, okay, fine. It's not a prescription. It's not something that's quote approved, but it's recognized. And I can do that. And 90 days, check back in with me. We'll see how it's going. So that is one option you can talk to your doctor about if you know something. I've given some things to my friends saying, hey, here's something you really need to talk to your doctor about. And voila, they say, okay, fine, let's go ahead and do this for a while. So you're not blocked from doing some of this stuff, but your doctor knows generally what is going on in your life, and particularly if there's some conflict with some other medicine or procedure going on. So let's see if we can get Caroline back here now. Okay, let's see if that controls part of the problem. Okay, Caroline. You're muted. I cannot hear you at all. And no. Why don't we go ahead and let Caroline fix that one, and I will go ahead and continue talking here for just a very brief moment. We'll come back to Caroline. Doctors have a moral and legal obligation to treat a problem when they find one, when they're aware of it. You have the same obligation yourself, that you're there for advice. They're a consultant. Get their advice. You like it or you don't like it. Now, in many cases, yeah, you just go ahead and do what they have. But sometimes there are other options. You take a look at a major illness like cancer. A lot of people treat it, not a lot, almost all the United States and most of the world treats it as a genetic disorder. But the success rate treating it as such to a certain standard of care that we have in the United States has results. And those results are not super great for stage 4, you name the cancer. But if you treat it as a metabolic disorder,
Well, I'm just jumping on as the producer because I can't hear either one of you. So both of you are on mute. So if you can undo the mute, that would be terrific.
I know you wanted to be on the show so bad.
I couldn't stay away. Sorry. Okay, back to the show.
Okay, hopefully the noise issue that we had, the technology is fixed and we're ready to go. Carolyn, tell us about your experience with doctors and their knowledge of nutraceuticals, any kind of non-prescription treatments for their patients.
Yeah, so basically what we see, for example, here in Spain, we have many patients, let's say, coming to our doctors, integrative medicine doctors, because they had no positive response from their conventional doctors. I can't tell you the name of this doctor because it doesn't want to take about that publicly, but is treating, oncological patients. That is to say, more than 80% of cancer patients. So it's treating them with this very glutathione or sublingual one, and is having a pretty amazing response on most, cases. But still, it doesn't want to make it public because the people are coming obviously from the social security system, disappointed, desperate, etc., and coming to him. Then you have other doctors such as Dr. Martina Sansa, which is also really an eminent doctor, is specialized in epigenetic genetics, a prime for innovation, health innovation for the benefit of humanity, etc. Is also working on cancer patients, but more in children. And he has also focused on the pathologies of this new era, the era of pollution, radiations, heavy metals, all type of pollution really. And is publicly, recommending this glutathione, for example. But then I think the most important really is to be in contact with your doctor, with your oncologist, with your specialist, and talk freely about that with them. And sometimes we can help. We can give more details about it, more literature, so that the doctor can say yes in this case or not in this case, for example. But this has to be a communication between the patient, the doctor, and we are just here to inform the people, to educate them and guide them through another way of healing, obviously.
I found very similar things. I found similar things in my background too. And I can't think of the name of the doctor who treats cancer as a metabolic disorder rather than a genetic one, and has some super success. I'm talking about 96% success rate at type 4 or stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And the other 4% are usually people that arrive and there's just nothing left of their body has been ravaged, and there's no real hope for them. But I want to go down the road of your background right now with regard to being a professional life coach. What do you offer in that regard when you meet a new client?
Yeah, so basically I work for both, individuals and professionals, be, health professionals, sport professionals, beauty professional, etc. So I offer, a bespoke guidance in all the cases, because as for individuals, each body is a universe. Each person is different. We don't know the level of toxicity, for example. So we have to be, listening to the people and know their challenges. And as for health professionals, we have, for example, in the United States and Canada, health PRP program, which is called Professional Result Program as well, because those professionals obviously need bulk solutions, right? So this is how we help. We have different ways of helping people. But again, as for glutathione, it's such a fragile molecule that please don't buy oral glutathione because it gets destroyed in the stomach and it's useless. You want to make sure that the glutathione enters your cell 97%. This is, immediate cellular utilization. This is what we need. we don't need huge quantity. We need something actually entering the cells. That's very different from a certain amount of milligrams, which appears to be very high. But the manufacturers do know that almost nothing will get into the cells. So please really choose a quality glutathione. Yes, that makes the difference.
It's interesting that you talk about that, because you brought to mind one of the bioavailability things. Curcumin, for instance, is a very well-known nutraceutical, but it's not very bioavailable. But if you take it with black pepper, with a piperine, black pepper extract, it's about 2,000% more bioavailable. So sometimes we get these molecules just because of their structure, they can't access the places they need to go. So you take it in big quantities, and you get 2 or 3%. There's a number of them out there that our body needs to modify it slightly, and that takes a little bit of time and effort. So 20% goes down to 3%, and by the time it gets to the cell that it's needed, it's like you didn't take any at all. Amazing, our bodies to work the way they do, and then we're able to find out, well, if you do this, it works better. If you do that, it works worse. And those are the things that I think that are just super interesting. I'll just take a little bit of black pepper, and that's what I do. But I just found out this week there's a lot of contaminants in black pepper, so you have to almost take an organic black pepper, so you're not getting the heavy metals and some of the other stuff that's processed with it. Same thing as in the pink salt. A lot of heavy metals, depending on what part of the world it's. Anyway, a lot of issues out there. But let's get back to Caroline and to our health hunter. When did you adopt that moniker?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't get it because the sound is pretty bad on my end, right?
Health hunter. When did you adopt that moniker?
Oh, did you say health hunter?
Yes.
Yeah, so basically when I was working in real estate, I was a real estate hunter, right? And I decided to keep that, hunter side, because yes, I'm like hunting, always, researching, always investigating, always trying to get the best of this, this project, this investigation, to get it available to my clients. So I kept that hunter, as a remembrance, let's say, of real estate hunter. Yes, yeah, because I'm hunting health, but the positive way, natural health, getting back to the root, and not trying to hide the consequence. Sorry, yeah.
What have you seen in people taking NUMI products? As far as how long does it take for fatigue to be overcome?
Yeah, so basically, depending on the challenge you have. So if it's, for example, tiredness linked to a wrong way of working of the ATP of the mitochondria, this will be one of the quickest to appear, to be felt, right? In my case, that was chronic fatigue, just 2 days. Then if you have, for example, high level of oxidative stress, that will take longer. It's like a rusted bike, for example. If you're rusted in the inside, it will take longer, obviously, than 1 week or 1 month, right? Then you have the heavy metals part. According to the scientists and the doctors, if you want a full heavy metals chelation with glutathione, which is one of the most powerful chelator ever, you gotta have a cure of 6 months, as a minimum of 6 months for a full heavy metals chelation. But then, depending on the people, you can feel things differently, because not everybody is as sensitive. For example, I have people just with 5 milliliters, the very first intake of their entire life, they will feel amazing and really feel and see things. Then I have people with less sensitivity, let's say, that don't feel anything special, but still, when we look at their blood markers, everything has changed. And obviously, this is too tiny to feel. So what you feel is actually only 10% of what is happening in your body, right? what you feel is the tip of the iceberg, and what is actually acting in your body is the rest, the 90%. So that's critical, and that's an amazing adventure for sure. Yes.
You mentioned the word chelation. It's not a topic that most people know about, but when something is chelated, like lead or some other heavy metal, it's actually bound by something that can rip it out of the body or allow the body to take it out naturally. So chelation was the term that she was using. And the first couple times I missed it because of her interesting accent. But anyway, that's what that's about, is chelation. We're at that point in time in our show that I need to ask her, how do people get in touch with you? How do they get your products? How do they get your service? So please take a few minutes and answer that for our audience.
Yeah, sure. So basically, you have various ways to reach out to me. You can find me on LinkedIn, on Facebook. You can send me a WhatsApp. I will be leaving my details, in the little box. You can even have a Calendly time with me, booking a meeting with me, so that I can, give you a bespoke guidance. Let's say at least I take 1 hour as a minimum, because and sometimes various sessions, which is totally complimentary, because we gotta dig deep, in the person problem. So that's very important that we take time to chat, to discuss, and to see what's going on, obviously. So yes, you can find me pretty much everywhere. Yes.
Would you prefer people contact you via social media, or do you have another preferred source of contact?
Yeah, they can definitely reach me by social media. That's totally and absolutely fine. I'm on Facebook under the name of Caroline Sommer, right? Caroline Sommer Ltd. That's the professional page as well. LinkedIn, all the same. Yeah, absolutely. And then on those page, you have the link to book a meeting with me as well, displaying pretty much everywhere.
You're in what time zone, so people are aware of what kind of response time they may have back?
When they reach out to me, you mean?
That's it. What time zone are you in, so that people understand the delay sometimes in getting back?
The thing, I'm traveling pretty much, so don't worry. When you book yourself in Calendly, that will be, automatically displaying. Most of the time, though, I'm based in Spain, so that's Spain time, but I'm traveling quite much, so sometimes it can change a little. Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you so very much, Caroline. I look forward to our next conversation. We had just met literally a couple weeks ago, and I'm glad you were able to get on so quickly. So,
yeah, it was a pleasure.
I wish you the best on your travels, and I look forward to our next conversation. I really do. Take care.
Thank you.
Randall Laughlin here. We're ending our show today with Caroline Sommer on The Wise Ones. The show is every week at noon Central Time in the United States, and is live on quite a few different channels. And then we also do an audio broadcast a little bit afterwards. So on Caroline Sommer, it's Caroline, Caroline, Sommer, Sommer, a little bit different than summer like we see sometimes here in the United States. So try Caroline Sommer on Facebook, on LinkedIn, Instagram, and you should be able to find her. Next on the USA Global TV and Radio Network, my show is called Talking Heads. I'll be chatting about, are you really in control? And what does that mean? And how does that apply to your health, particularly as you're getting older and starting to retire? Are you in control enough so that you can control the level of health and your ability to function later in life? And that involves, what is control? How do we lose it? How do we regain it? How do we affect change in our lives? A lot of different things are going on. And as we get older, our habits, our comfort zones, all sorts of things kind of marry up and intertwine, and it becomes very difficult to make any effective change. So that being said, I bid you adieu, and we will catch you next week on this, The Wise Ones on the USA Global TV and Radio Network.
Ever dreamed of hosting your own TV show, sharing your story with a global audience? Now's your chance to shine. At USA Global TV and Radio, we make it easy for you to create, host and broadcast your very own TV show. Whether you're a storyteller, entrepreneur or industry expert, we help you bring your vision to life. With our exclusive interview, live streaming and podcasting training, you'll gain the skills and confidence to captivate your audience. Our global platform ensures your voice is heard worldwide. Join our community of creators who are already making an impact, one show at a time. Step into the spotlight. Host your own TV show on USA Global TV and Radio. Book your discovery call today at usaglobaltv.com. Copyright 2025 USA Global TV and Radio. All rights reserved. Terms and conditions apply. To learn more, visit usaglobaltv.com.
Lady Ella flies up high, spreading kindness through the sky. With Lord Jack right by her side, through the world they glide. They listen close, they understand, helping creatures in the land. With open hearts, they lend a hand. Come along, come and see. Kindness starts with you and me. Listen close, hear the sound. Kindness makes the world go round. Goo goo gaga, goo goo gaga. So spread your wings and soar so high, like Lady Ella in the sky. With Lord Jack we'll always say, listening and kindness light the way.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Steve Klein Art at steveklein.art.
My name is Steve Klein, born Manchester, England, 1953. My quest in my lifetime is to create artwork from my soul and the deepness within my wildest dreams and fantasies. In 2012, my heart stopped when I was given too much anesthetic for a minor knee operation, and this near-death experience took me to another multidimensional world, an out-of-body experience, and I was given the gift of being blessed by an overwhelming, burning passion to become, for the very first time in my life, an artist with an eternal, passionate desire to bring my art, which I've named multidimensional, subliminal, freeform art, to the world, as only 3% recover from what I experienced. And now in my golden years want to release my cosmic, vital energy through my art to allow people to be a part of my cosmic dance.
To learn more, email roccogoodwine@gmail.com. For VIP pricing, mention USA Global TV and Radio.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, We're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dyes. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbick. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.